Hello, wet willows. Yeah, that's a no from me, dog.
I just don't see the vision on this one. I'm out.
Willow Davis here. How's it going? I asked my subscribers and followers on Instagram that happened to see my story, your assumptions about me pulling an Amberlin, but there was lots of responses. And so, but I think we might be able to get through them all. Some people were requesting longer talking videos anyway, so we'll see what we can get through here. I'm gonna start with the YouTube ones, and I'll just see what the assumptions are about me, and I'll tell you if it's right or wrong, and explain some of them, I guess. So I'm just gonna go from the top here. Sarah Slays says, "You swing both ways." No. I have a feeling there's going to be a recurring theme in the assumptions, but no, assumption is false. Odd G Live says, "You're a stoner." Nope, I've never smoked or done any drugs in my life. I'm clean. Everyone assumes that I smoke, but it's not true. City Dweller says, "You low-key enjoy watching Eric cook and Amberlin." In a way, I mean, it's like, I like to keep up to date and, slightly enrage myself every once in a while watching. But, it's also just great to have on in the background. You ever just do that? Just as someone to be talking at you. You're probably doing that with this video. Except, hopefully, I'm a little less like, oh my god, what are they doing? So that's like, you're almost right about that. L. Deweese says, "You secretly listen to country music when you're alone." Very rarely, and if it is, it's usually just the album "Here's to the Good Times" by Florida Georgia Line. Doesn't get much farther than that very often. Gus T says, "You don't like confrontation." That's kind of true. I try to avoid human contact when it comes to transactions and things whenever possible. That's why I always am ordering food on apps and stuff like that. But when it comes to important things, then I have no problem being very upfront in resolving them. But yeah, other than that, I really don't want to talk to anybody. Vertigo Mini says, "You're super mellow and chill, but you low-key have road rage. Maybe mild, but still road rage." In a funny way, I do. I like to, I'm just very defensive about driving. I think it's just really important that everyone pays attention and follows the rules and things, at least in ways where safety is involved. So, and then whenever someone is upsetting me on the road, I think it's fun to just come up with every possible horrible insult and terrible word to call them, in the comfort of my own car, obviously. I don't shake my fist, I don't flip people off, I don't make a face or scream out my window or anything, because I really don't think that helps. I do use the horn. I probably 90% of the times that I drive, I end up using the horn at some point. And it's unfortunate that people see the horn as just a thing "F you, you messed up," as if screaming at them, when it's really more of a tool, a warning and a heads up and just an alert. So I don't know, example, if you're just driving along and someone in the lane next to you starts just about to drift into your lane, they're coming, and you honk, and then they're just "Ugh!" And it's no, I'm sorry, you should have just hit me. I should have just let you just run me off the road, is what I should have. How dare I? Anyway, Christian Marion says, "You miss eating meat." No, definitely not at all. It's been over 3 years, and it Going vegan was one of the best decisions I've ever made, and I feel much better doing so, physically and mentally. So, no, definitely not something I miss or will ever do again. Prozac Pills says, you don't like babies. I mean, I definitely think that I think there's just a lot to handle. I'm definitely not prepared for that responsibility right now. Maybe I'm just a selfish and petty person, but like I don't really have an interest right now. I don't get the hype. Maybe is what I'm trying to say. Like I don't want to hold anyone's kid. I don't want to like watch them or take care of them. I don't know why. I don't know. I like to worry about myself and stuff. So it's not that I don't like babies. I like myself more. I don't know. Miranda L says, you were emo in high school. Parentheses, I definitely was. LOL. No, I was more just like straight up like metalhead. I had like long hair, and I was all my friends just like listened to metal mostly, and we were like playing it in bands and stuff. So yeah, and then it really took like even like after I graduated like college for me and my friends to start getting into it. We like went to like the last like full national Warped Tour, and when we were like, wow, I wish that we knew in high school that it was okay to be this, but it did like these things and stuff. It really took the scene dying for us to start getting into it, and it's just a shame. But I don't know. Maybe Jamie was a little bit more, but not in high school for me. Gavpad says, "You're a soy boy." That's not much of an assumption. I mean, that is true. I do eat soy. Symmetry says, "You have worn guy liner and black nail polish at some point in your past." Never simultaneously. And yeah, so very rarely. Jane says, you like it when you step in something wet while wearing socks. Love that. Love stepping in something wet on the floor and having the cotton just press it against your skin for the duration of the time it's there. I mean, honestly, it probably doesn't bother me as much as the average person. Like if I have to grab something from like a car and the driveway's a little wet and I'm in socks, I'll either just bear through it and go, or like take my socks off and just go barefoot down the driveway or something. Yeah, I don't know. Just it doesn't bother me that much for some reason. Definitely not preferable, but Ev Ramble says, you're going to lead the storming of Area 51. Ah. Yeah, that sounds wonderful. What a admirable way to go out. J Woolman 5 says, your real hair color is green. Yeah, actually, if you didn't know, all vegans actually just grow grass out of their head. So I have to dye it like this. No, my real hair color is just this like very dark brown, almost black. And there's some grays mixed in, but you know. So Pete says, you low-key liked Amber's cucumber boat. The one that I made did not like it. The one she made did not look good. And that's all I gotta say about that. Cucumber's good though. Kisray or Kaiseri? I'm gonna say Kaiseri is my guess for pronounce this. Sorry. You got good grades in high school? No, absolutely not. I was probably one of the lowest GPAs to actually graduate, I feel. I remember walking at the rehearsal for graduation, and my like advisor was like standing on the side, and as I walked by, she was just like, "Will, you are graduating," and I was like, "Oh, I didn't realize it was that down to the wire." Jeez, I didn't know I was waiting for the confirmation. So yeah, no, not good. Mandy Rice says, your alarm clock is the techno dance mix of Bonnie Tyler's Total Eclipse of the Heart. I mean, well, I don't even have music stored on my phone. I just stream it all nowadays. But if it would definitely be a contender if I did have music on my phone that I could use as an alarm instead of just the default things. One of my like 20 alarms at various intervals of minutes that I put on to try and wake myself up within like a 2-hour time frame because I can never get up. Anyway, Abby Green says, "Oh, definite stoner." No, we've touched on that. Stephen Smith, you've watched SLC Punk at least once in your life. I have not, but I looked it up. Seems like it'd be interesting to watch. But no. L. West, someone said you look Italian, but I'm going to say you got some Greek ancestry up in you. No, not that I know of. I am part Italian, and just a bunch of other things. Think English, Irish, Scottish, Welsh, German, and Italian. So there's that. Jebwis Envy, you're Italian. Yeah, a little bit. Matthew Garsha, you enjoy people watching. Not really. I generally don't really care about what anyone else is doing. I mean, I guess I would watch someone who I got a very bad vibe from in an area and like keep an eye on them. But no, I'm really not interested in just seeing people pass by and like wondering about their lives. I really don't care. Monica B says, you smoke a lot of weed. No, guys, I really, really do not. Little Roof Over Our Heads says, you eat people, but only by candlelight. Misty Bry says, you don't vote. No, I do. I do for some of the things. Try to get out there. Kayla Aw Amazing says that you're an atheist. I definitely would not go putting a label on it, especially something like that. I like to hope for a purpose and all that, but at the same time, I'm just enjoying my time here. Valley says, you are mixed race? Not that I know of, although my brother took a DNA test, like one of those things, and apparently at some point, like, I think people of like northern Spain came to Wales or something, and we ended up having a small percentage of Iberian Peninsula in us, which I guess that is where that would come from. So just interesting, but very, 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 you know, so I guess I would say no. Pinhead Patrick says, you can catch and pitch. Oh, you catch and pitch. Love you, WiLLo. I'm not exactly sure what that means in this context, but I'm going to say no. Death by Cookies says stoner. No. Mix It Up NY. You're gifted classical / metal musician. I wouldn't say I'm a gifted classical musician. I mean, I did a lot of chorus in school and took like a singing class. Definitely not like hardcore classical talent, or not well studied in the finer aspects of that. I do sing a lot, practice it all the time. I like to think I got a good voice for like metal and things, so I'll take that. Thank you. Rachel Angelica says, you like the way your farts smell. Why do you do this? Why would you say such a thing? Angie Scott says, I assume you try to get your non-vegan friends to try it for a week. And I'd probably just, if they seemed at all interested, suggest the same thing where you just, kind of that. Just, like, try cutting out, like, dairy and stuff and see if you feel any different, but, like, don't bother telling anybody because then you'll feel pressure. So I kind of, maybe. Hey You says, you have a collection of journals, but not as many as our Gorl. No, I really don't think I do. I might have like one that's like half used lying around. Afro Swedish says, you don't want to become a father. I'm not opposed to it. I mean, despite what I said earlier about not being interested in babies at the moment, I think a time could come. Fanny Chapa Espino says, you eat meat when you're drunk. No, and even still, I almost never drink, so no, definitely not. Blank Face Baby says, you are working with PETA to save Twinkie store. Well, I do think Twinkie's not in the greatest situation, but it's kind of like how can you take care of another living thing when you can't take care of yourself type of deal. But yeah, I would work with PETA to get a little more involved in that. But there's also lots of legitimate abuse going on lately in terms of people online with videos of animal abuse. So Julie Snyder says, you always have at least one dirty dish in your bedroom, always. I'm sure somewhere. Probably. Kitten says, you secretly have a feeder fetish and enjoy watching our girl and Nico blow up. No, definitely not. CEM2756 says, you don't like people that aren't vegan. I try to see them as I would myself before I became vegan. Like, it's easy to understand why it doesn't appeal to people who like aren't at all surrounded by anything like that. So I try to be understanding. It definitely doesn't help promote veganism to just like shut people out that aren't. And I'd rather be effective in spreading it. So Becky Harvey says, I assume you have a not-so-great residual self-image, so may have little to no clue how attractive and intelligent you are. That's my mom answer. I have a son, so I see every dude as their mother would. I also feel like you have an introspective tendency that wins out, even when you know it may affect you negatively, socially, or professionally. It's a lot to unpack here. I think I have a pretty good self-image at this point. I definitely had to work at it a lot to get to this point, but I think I'm in a pretty good spot right now. I also feel like you have an introspective tendency that wins out, even when you know it may affect you negatively, socially, or professionally. Yeah, in some ways, maybe I think I overanalyze things. I tend to do that with every situation. Is kind of just like think of it from every perspective and like try and consider things, and maybe it makes me tone things down a little bit sometimes. So thanks for this analysis. Marissa says, you have sleep apnea. No, I don't think I do. Brian Honer says, a cat bit off the edge of your ear. No, they've always just been like a fun little shape, fun little things. I'm not sure which part you're referring to here, unless this is some joke that I'm not getting. Elise Luke says, you once threw an incinerate. No, I'm not. No, okay. Thank you. Tashia Wilhoit says, you watch the Powerpuff Girls? I did back when it was a staple on a Cartoon Network, classic cartoon. So it was a good show. I don't really get to it much anymore these days, but Baby Factory says, all you do with your free time is play video games and watch TV. Almost no TV, really. I don't even have a cable box in my room. I do watch YouTube, and I do play games, especially since I got a Switch. But, like, it's hard to just, like, it depends on what free time is, because, like, I'm not, like, I don't have, like, a job to go to right now. I've been making a bunch of videos and hanging out with Jamie, and it's time for me to maybe start looking into a big boy job. But yeah, definitely fit some games in there and some watching of YouTube. SunQ says, you speak Spanish. No, sorry. Christine Smith says, you like Brazilian waxes, LOL. I'm not exactly sure what that means, so I'm going to move along. Danielle Gill says, you have a liberal arts degree. I actually have a Bachelor of Arts degree in music with a concentration in music production. So not liberal arts, which is what, that's just like normal classes, right? That's just like high school too. No offense. That's my understanding of it. I'm not really sure. Anna Hansen says, you're a good judge of character. I like to think so. Kind of go off of a vibe, you know? Unexplainable energy. You know what I mean? My happy place says, you have Starbucks every day. I wish, honestly. I do have caffeine every day, but I don't go to Starbucks every day. That'd be very expensive and not advisable for someone who doesn't have a steady job at the moment. But in maybe in a perfect world for me, I would get Starbucks every day. Sandra Holbrook says, you love Meshuga. Sandra actually found me at Sonic Temple Festival this year, which was very nice and also impressive, being that I had on, it was very sunny. I had on a hat and a bandana and sunglasses. So it was nice meeting you. And I do love Meshuga. I would definitely call myself a fake fan, because all I ever want to listen to is Bleed and other things off of that album, because that's, I don't know, that album just stuck with me. So definite fake fan, but I do love it, and I listen to Bleed all the time. So, and they were really good. They did put on a really good show at Sonic Temple. Really glad I got to see them. Cassie Beale says, you've had a dream of Amber before. No, definitely not. I almost never dream anyway, for whatever reason, or maybe I just don't remember it, I guess, is what you could say. And I'm content that way. I think when I hear people talk about the weird dreams that they have, I'm very thankful, because I have a very overactive imagination, and I don't know, things really stick with me. And like, even I don't like being in the dark, really. I have like lights on. I have like night lights going wherever I'm sleeping. So, Per Boogaloo says, you're going to read spooky stories for us in October, and you're going to ask us for AL Universe horror fan fiction also to read. Is that something that people want? I could work something together if that's an interest. Aaron Munoz, how's it going, Aaron? You and Jamie are planning on children in the next 3 years. Also, you use the bathroom a lot because of the liquids you consume. All the liquids you consume. Yeah, I definitely use the bathroom a lot because of all the liquids I consume. I like beverages. And no plans for kids at the moment. It's a shame that the cost of living is so high in our area. It would be very nice to move out and establish ourselves a little quicker, but we're working on it. So no plans yet on children. Erica says, you seem like you'd be a stoner. LMAO. You guys, come on. Pete says, also, you'd look good as a ginger. Thanks. Okay, that was it for that. I'm going to scoot on over to Instagram now. There's only a few here because I was just posted on my story real quick. But let's knock these out. Blister Milk says, you smell really pretty. You're a man of cleanliness. I wouldn't say that. I mean, I try to at least present myself in a decent way. I definitely could be I could have a little more upkeep on taking care of myself, definitely. But I guess I would at least try to smell decent, so thanks for that. Megs Blue says, I assume you're a vegetarian who sometimes eats fish. JK, notice me. Now you're thinking of Zachary Michael, who claims to be a vegetarian who sometimes eats fish. I am full-on vegan. I know you were JKing. Robert F.I. says, you must be at least bi. No, what at least? Gabia George says, you've hooked up with a guy. No. Brittany Ann says, you used to eat meat? Yeah, over 3 years ago it did occasionally happen, but no longer. Diane Leslie Morrison says, you worship SpongeBob like I do. Yeah, probably. I do like the good old SpongeBob. Definitely not this new stuff that they've been putting out. My God. But yeah, the classic SpongeBob. I don't know what seasons were like those like classic episodes, but those were good times. Night Chronopod cutting off. A lot of people fear you. I don't think so. You tell me. I try to be a pretty non-intimidating person, but I don't know. Let me know. Kayla Walker, 1989, says, assuming that you come across so laid back and chill that you never get angry. I definitely try not to. I think it's very weird when people like get angry, especially in like public places and stuff, knowing that we all have the ability. We can pull ourselves back, tone it down. It just gets really awkward when people just don't control themselves and get angry. Creates for a scary situation. So I believe in everyone. You have the ability. If you're gonna get angry, just see it playing out in your head and being like, okay, you know what? Actually, I can bring it back a little bit. I can bring it back. It's fine. I don't have to yell at this customer service person. WiLLo Weed says, you do not enjoy beer pong. I was never good at it. It's also kind of like nasty if you think about it. So, no, not a preferable game for me. Gabby Gardner says, you prefer the older gens of Pokemon versus the newer. Well, yeah, of course, the older ones are going to stick with me a little bit better, you know. My brother had red version, so I like played around with that a little bit. Then I got silver version, you know, and I even got blue later on. And so, like, I've been there from the beginning, and so Kanto region's always going to stick well with me. But I do enjoy all the other ones. I think Gen 4 was, like, a definite highlight in the series with Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, and then also Heart Gold, Soul Silver, like, which was at the next thing there. I think those games were really good with all the post game that was available to them. It was just a really great time for like real like battling like competitively. And then after that, things start getting a little weird with them, like, changing things around with, like, the megas and whatever else and the new type combos and things. But I'm still enjoying it so far. Nervous about the new one. Hashtag bring back National Dex. But also, I think they should not... I'm going to go off for a second. I think they should include all the Pokemon in the new one. I don't think they should delay the game. If they have to put it out with whatever they were intending, That's fine. It would be nice to hear them say that they're either going to add them in through like different things, or that like this is just a one-off thing and in the future they'll all be back again or something. But they have not done that courtesy yet. They're saying like the most that they said after tons and tons of outcry was like, oh, don't worry, just because they're not in this game doesn't mean that they won't be in future games, or don't like just because a particular Pokemon isn't in this game doesn't mean that it won't be in future games or other things. And like, yeah, I would hope that them not being in this game doesn't mean that they're gone forever. No one was assuming that they'd just be gone forever. But the problem is the non-inclusion, and people defend it by saying, oh, well, all these other games that came out, these Pokemon games, you couldn't get all of them in the game. They had to be ported in. And yes, that's always been a thing. That's fine. I would like the option. It could be after you beat the entire game. Maybe they'll let you bring in the other like generations and stuff. That would be fine. I don't like how they're just ignoring it though, but great question, great assumption. Let's move on. Julie Loves Angus says that you secretly wear fuzzy slippers. I don't have that much fuzzy ones. I got those nice Pikachu ones that Jamie gave me. They're a go-to. Joey also gave me these like dino feet slippers. I like those too. And I think Jamie also got me these black ones with like a plaid on the inside that are more like slip-ons with like the rubber bottoms. Those are nice. None of them are like that fuzzy though, but they're good. Julie Loves Angus also says that you're hiding your musical genius. I've heard you. I mean, I hope am I hiding it really? I mean, not that I'm saying my musical genius, but I do music things sometimes. Certainly not trying to hide it. Gnarly Lale, I don't know. Sorry. I think you'd be awesome to get high with. Unlikely. Perpsy Cola says you don't like sports. I really don't. It's never interested me. I like video games. I would watch people play some video games competitively. I mean, I don't like tune into the latest tournaments of whatever, but that I find more interesting than sports. I just can't get into that at all. Really. It's just not something that I find appealing. And that's it. That's all the assumptions. So thank you very much for assuming things about me. Glad I could clarify them. And maybe we all now have a better understanding of each other. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Hashtag bring back National Dex. Let me know what other kind of more personal videos you want to see from me. And don't forget to smash like, subscribe, hit the bell, go to all notifications. That way you get notified every time I upload immediately. It's nice and smooth that way. And I'll see you next time. WiLLo Davis out.